evening and welcome again to Enriching Family Life. I am Sandy Bengochir and it's good to be with you this evening. This evening we have with us some guests who have quite a story to tell, and we're going to be talking about multiple sclerosis, and we're going to be doing a lot of awareness, talking about how we can become aware of someone who has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and also how we can care for them, how we can manage their spirituality, their emotions, their physical self. And there is so much that we need to know, because it's one of these illnesses that happen and we go into almost a state of shock. So I'd like to start this evening with one of our guests and someone who has been with us before and who has chatted with us before on MS, Dr. Daphne Phillips. Welcome.
Thank
welcome
you.
to the
Thank
program,
you.
and it's so good to have you with us again
I'm
here.
pleased to be here too. Thank you. Yeah.
Could you, for the sake of our viewers, because I know we say MS, and a lot of times people don't even understand what we mean when we say MS. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're talking about?
Okay, MS is a disease called multiple sclerosis, which is caused by a breakdown of the myelin sheath that covers the brain and spinal cord. There is some mechanism that triggers that breakdown of the coverings of the brain and spinal cord. So it exposes the nerves to injury and difficulties, so that whatever organs are affected by the particular nerves that feed those organs, they break down. So it could be your eyesight could go, or it could be musculoskeletal problems and problems of almost every part of the body. So MS is a disease that is life-changing. Typically, it affects people between the ages of 15 to about 50, and but older people also have MS, like me. I got MS when I was way up in life. I had my children, they went to school, they went to university, and then I was in government and all that. And
well-known name, Dr. Daphne Phillips.
Yeah, and then I got MS. So you don't escape it after, even though you've passed a certain age. MS is a debilitating disease because it gets worse it tends to get worse over time. And so there are types of MS. There are 4 types: primary progressive, relapsing remitting, secondary progressive, and then there's a 4th called progressive relapsing. That has to do with the way the disease presents. So in the primary progressive, we have persons starting, you get an initial, we call it an attack, an initial breakdown. And in primary progressive, you get that breakdown and you get the problem, whether it's physical or neurologic, neuritis or whatever it is. It runs a course, and then after a while you get another attack and it gets worse. So it gets worse over time. But with the relapsing remitting, you get an attack and then there's repair, there's healing. So you get better, you get improved. And after a while, you get another attack for a period, maybe a month, 3 months, and then you get, again, you get repair and recovery. Okay, so there are different types, and so people have different...
But they're all debilitating.
All debilitated, and eventually would lead to decline. Multiple sclerosis is not a disease that will kill you, like cancer or some other of those diseases. you will go through it, you will live through it, you will suffer through it. And then after, when it's ready, when the nerves are destroyed to the extent that
So it's it's a disease that goes slowly.
tend to be slow.
Yeah.
Except in the primary progressive, it probably will have you fully debilitated earlier. Okay, so it isn't a disease that will kill you, but it will change your life.
Yeah, yeah. Sharice, you have been diagnosed with MS, with MS. Tell us what that was like for you.
Well, firstly, going back a little bit, I got my first attack in 2015. I was extremely frightened. I had no clue what was going on with me.
What was the attack like?
It went from slurred speech to difficulty writing, and then there was a long weekend where I got a full-on onset of vertigo. I was dizzy, I could not walk properly, I could not see properly, I was back and forth between the hospital. So from that point to late last year, I was basically in limbo.
You didn't know what was happening with you?
Well, after the first attack, long story short, I was directed to a neurologist, and after the first MRI, it was, he said it is probable MS, but the disease is something that cannot be diagnosed right away. It has to take its course. You have to at least have 1 or 2 attacks more or less in your lifetime before you can get a full diagnosis, confirmed diagnosis of MS.
So you've had the illness now for like 2 years?
About 3 years.
About 3 years.
Yeah.
About 3 years.
So
Yes.
it's only late last year that that the illness was reconfirmed for sure.
Okay.
Right,
And what was that like for you emotionally?
It was more of a relief because being in limbo, you have an idea of what is happening, but you don't have a definite, yes, you do have this or whatever. So I would just be experiencing different little things and just ride it out. So late last year, it was more of a relief that, okay, it's confirmed and this is what we could do. There's treatments. There are other little things that you could do to help yourself, exercise, change your diet. So it's more of relief, but then again, at my age, it's more of a letdown because I have a daughter. I would like to do more, all right, but again, it's a letdown because you have this for the rest of your life and you don't know if you can be stable or if it can progress. You don't know, you just have to ride it out.
Yeah, so you just live in faith right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, but there are treatments that you can that can help your life become a little more comfortable.
Yes, there
Yeah.
are treatments. But this is another reason that contributes. There's another thing that contributes to the suffering of MS, you see, in this period of time when you don't know.
Yes.
At the beginning you don't know, and all these strange and difficult and scary symptoms come on. You don't know.
And you don't know
You
what,
don't know what
and
it
you don't
is.
know what
You
is
may
happening.
suspect, you hear
what is
people
happening to
talking,
you.
read,
Yeah.
but you don't quite. You have to wait to get the diagnosis.
And you wait, and your diagnosis took almost 2 years.
Yes,
Almost
mine
2
Mine
years.
was 4 years.
You took 4 years.
4 years.
Wow. Yeah.
There
4
are some that have waited longer than
Longer
that.
than that, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
10
not
years
something.
and some.
Wow.
Some have
Yeah.
waited so long, yes.
And then you just don't know.
You don't know what it is,
what
where
is
you are,
happening.
what
Yeah.
is it, yeah.
Well, we have a couple here with us as well this evening, Devrani and Kern Barrios. Yeah. And Kern, you have been diagnosed with, and yes, and Devrani is your wife, your caregiver, your life partner.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been married for 17 years.
You've been married for 17
yes,
years.
17 years.
Congratulations.
4 beautiful kids.
4 beautiful
Four
kids.
kids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
4 beautiful kids.
How lovely.
Yeah, I was diagnosed in 2010. Yeah. And unlike you, I got my diagnosis almost immediately. It was in a month time or
Okay.
a couple.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is not.
Because
symptoms were
I was really severe. I
Yeah.
was paralyzed, couldn't talk,
really
couldn't walk.
Yep.
It was immediate, so I had a lot of therapy to get back to where I am right now. So, you know, it was really life changing.
And when did you say you died? 2010. So you've
2010.
had the illness now for
For
the
quite a
disease
while.
for 8 years. You're
For
in your
8
eighth year
years,
now.
yes,
Yeah,
8 years.
yeah. And how have you been coping? What has this been like for you, Devani? Because you're his wife, you're the mother of his 4 children. You
Yeah.
have a whole future, your life ahead of you.
As Cherie said, it was life changing because I was a housewife for 10 years. He was the career person, and I took care of the kids. And at that time when he got diagnosed, it was scary. It was because I'm seeing my husband totally bedridden, and I'm thinking, what are we going to do now? And we, you know, we prayed a lot. We were a praying family. We stuck together, and even today we still battle with these symptoms. It's not something that disappeared. We had, like right now, the heat is bothering him.
Yeah.
So stringing along a thought would be a problem. Speaking
So I don't
would
know
be
if
a
I can get our
problem.
studio to turn up the heat a little bit, turn
Turn
down a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's fine. And you know, we have 4 kids, and it is difficult to maneuver. 2 of them are autistic, so it's difficult to manage
The 2 of your
them.
children are autistic.
Yes, and with him and his condition, sometimes we can't even leave the house.
No, they're bad days and they're really bad days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So the heat makes him weak, where he can't move. Sometimes he suffers blurry vision. Sometimes the nerves, he gets pins and needles on his hands and feet.
That is common.
Yeah, and sometimes it stiffens, his limbs stiffen. So when that happens, and I'm so grateful for the MS Society and the programs that they've had, because when we did attend, we were able to meet a physical therapist and a massage therapist as well that taught us how to, what to do in times like that so that the pain is less, you know. He takes medication when the medication makes him sick too.
Yeah, it
so
does. Beta-interferon.
yeah.
I get
Makes you
flu-like symptoms
Yes, you
every
Really?
day. I still get headaches. The doctor said it would have eased up. I wasn't so lucky. So if I take it during the night, it will wake me up with fever and headache.
You do get flu-like
So I
symptoms.
live
Yes.
on ibuprofen. And I don't want to take it because it damages my stomach.
Yeah, because ibuprofen you shouldn't
Yeah.
take that every day as well.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I don't take it every day. So when
It's still on the
I take it when I
interferon?
can't. Yeah,
Still on the interferon.
I'm still on it. So
The only
it's-
side effects that Ferron has on me, if I take it too early and I don't sleep it off, I would just go down. Like I just can't function. I'll be very tired. I'll be very weak. So that's why I more or less take it in the night.
In the night,
Yeah.
So I'll be able to sleep through the night and let it run its course.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah. But what has it been like? What your family life? Or what has it been
Right.
like?
It was hard at the beginning because nobody knew what it was and they didn't understand. Kern, who was very athletic
Yeah.
and moving and shaking, is ill. But they're on board and they understand. So they understand with the heat. My greatest is the heat because
Well,
we
I
live
don't
in
know
a
if our
tropical.
studio could turn down a little bit.
That's why
yeah.
what I do. I
Turn up.
stay still.
Uh-huh.
I try not to sweat. I relax.
And the heat brings on symptoms?
It
Yes,
does.
it does.
What happens? I would love to say I'm a master of it now, because I have coped for so many years. But one thing I had to learn is was my what do you say?
His limits.
Limits. That's it. Thank you.
To manage his expectations.
To manage your limits. Well, we're going to go to a short break now, and when we come back, we're going to continue chatting and find out something about how people can contact the MS Society and what are some of the things that you offer, because there seems to be quite a support system here with the MS. So we take a short break, and when we come back, we talk a little bit.
Sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
Okay.
Sonja. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, Sonja.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi.
Be not afraid. I go before you always. Come, follow me, and I will give you rest. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. In fresh and green pastures, he makes me lie down. To still waters, he leads me. He restores my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in front of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Well, Dr. Phillips, I know the MS Society has been doing tremendous work in Trinidad and Tobago, you know, and I mean, I have a very good friend as well who has a son, and you know, she's been very dependent on getting assistance, advice, and so from that. What's some of the advice you would give people who
Let me
have?
just say at 1st that there are 2 MS bodies in Trinidad
Okay.
and Tobago. We are the MS Support Foundation.
Ah, okay.
We were created just about a year ago. We came into existence in May 2017, and we registered with the Companies Act and so on. We are a non-profit organization and so on. We came into being because we were concerned with the needs of MS people, the immediate needs of MS people for services like physiotherapy, massage therapy, and so on, occupational therapy. We were concerned with their need for information and education. For example, we recently launched a new drug developed by Roche International, and we had, it was exposed to all of us so that we know that that drug exists, very expensive, but it can still be available, perhaps to replace what we are taking now, interferon. But also that drug is the first drug that was developed for both sets of MS, both types, primary progressive and relapsing remitting. It has a lot of potential, and I think some people in Trinidad are already taking it. So those things, people want information, people want treatment, people want services.
And support.
And
you know.
support.
Yes,
And
yes.
support. So this is why MS Foundation.
So it's
was
called the
formed.
MS Foundation.
Foundation
Yeah,
of Trinidad
yeah,
and Tobago,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The other organization, of which I was also president, tended to be more bureaucratic and so on. And I found that it didn't address the people, the sufferers of MS, well, the people living with MS, and it didn't promote their well-being as well as I thought it should. Because you see, right now we are beginning to see that we can look towards a period where MS will be no no
And
longer.
a lot of research has
Yes,
been done.
there's
yes.
there's been research done mostly abroad in the United States of America. And people have found, for example, there's this doctor who herself had MS, and this is Dr. Oh Lord, from Virginia, I think she is. And I have her book and everything, and Dr. What is
But I'm sure the name will come to you as you go on.
Walls, Wahls, Terry Walls, Dr. Terry Walls, and she was in a wheelchair on her bed, she couldn't move, and she did the studies and the research, and she saw what to do. Mainly that the cells, the neurons, were lacking in certain vitamins and essential nutrients. And she prepared those things and put them together and fed herself with it. And that lady got up off her wheelchair, riding, walking, doing everything. She still has MS,
Yes.
but she can move and work, and she has a clinic, and she teaches her patients these things. So we are into that research. There's also something else called virtual, it's happening in Canada, where you not only look at the external, because for us we look at the external features and so, but they're looking inside the brain to see what is happening and what the changes are going on there, so that they can reverse it if it's possible. So we have, I think we have good hope
Yes, yes.
that we're
And
going to address
especially,
MS.
yeah, there's a lot of hope, especially for young mothers
Yes,
and young fathers,
especially-
you know.
especially for young people.
And well, we have another young lady on the set with us, Sandra
Yes.
Guevara.
Yes.
Sandra, welcome as well. Welcome to the program, and tell us your story. Tell us your story.
Okay, I have the flu, so
That's all right. That's okay.
I was diagnosed back in 2003.
That was
And
like about
the-
15 years ago.
Yeah, when I was 13 years old. And the only reason I found out is because it's actually,
You said you were diagnosed when you were 13 years
yeah,
old.
13.
Uh-huh.
And it's because I became blind. Like in 3 months' time, all my sight was gone, and the doctors couldn't figure out what was the reason. But after doing MRIs and different tests, they determined that I had MS, multiple sclerosis.
So within 3 months of contracted the illness, you went completely blind.
Yes,
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah.
And
What was that like for you at 13?
at first, it wasn't a problem. I guess I wasn't aware like what it was, and I was normal for a really long time until the father actually told me what it was, and then, you know, I guess reality finally sunk in after a while. And after that, I just adjusted after going to school for blind for a year and just getting back into the whole system, you know, the education system and all these things. But yeah.
So what has your life been like now with multiple? Do you have any other symptoms besides your blindness?
Yes, I have numbness in my legs. Since 2015, I don't have, I lost a lot of sensation in my legs and in my feet since 2015 to now. And lack of balance and all these things, and pain, headaches, and that kind of thing. Yeah.
So I'm hearing a lot of headaches and
Yeah.
so.
Oh, yeah.
What does it have to do? What is your yeah?
Yeah, I've had migraines before I was diagnosed. I used to work as a crane mechanic, and I would have migraines that would last days,
Yes.
and back pains that would last days and weeks. And I thought then it was fatigue because I was a workaholic and training all the time. So
I'm sure he didn't tell you that then.
Oh no, he did. I was concerned. I often told him I need to take him to the doctor, but he's a Superman.
Yeah.
So he said no every single time I suggested to go to the doctor.
Yeah. So that was the early.
Yeah, so it was so headaches constantly, and I used to take time off from work to get until like you were saying vertigo. I thought
Yes.
it was stress, there were times I couldn't even watch TV. That's really bad times. Because when you had the vertigo and you could stay home, you could watch TV, but there are ones that your eyes are moving fast.
Yeah.
You're lying down
You
and
get
the
that
bed
one
is
as
still
well.
moving.
Yeah, yeah.
You're feeling upset, like you want to throw up. Those are the bad days. Those are the days I can't go to church. I can't move around the house. I'm a prisoner in my own bedroom. And I'm really glad I have the support from my family, my wife, and you know. But it's a whole turn because I remember this time it was really sad for me. I was still paralyzed, taking therapy, and my daughter, she was young then. She came to open a pack of conkers,
Uncles.
and I just started to cry because I couldn't open it. And she kept asking over and over Daddy to open it, and she didn't understand that
Daddy couldn't
Daddy
do it,
couldn't
yeah.
move to open it, and that really hurt. And there are times people don't understand that it's a pleasure to walk out to take a taxi. I understand what's missing now, because I can't just walk a long distance to take a taxi because I could fall. And I have fallen. I fall a couple times already, and
The last time was actually 3 months ago,
yeah,
and he was helping a friend, and the heat. He didn't realize it was that humid. Sometimes you walk and you don't realize how humid it is. He didn't recognize that it was that humid, and he ended up rolling into the drain.
yeah.
And I was inside, and nobody understood what was going on with him, but I knew. So I knew, get the ice bath ready, have something cold for him to drink, get him straight to the shower, and then into the AC. So when I see that it's very hot, I am frantic. And it comes back to managing your expectation, like Sonja was saying. We have to adapt, we have to manage our expectations, know that this is our limit. And the biggest test for me was to have that patience, because I'm a quick thinker and a quick mover. And I know that sometimes my husband, I have to slow down for him.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of melded our relationship stronger because we've learned to accommodate each other. So he knows me, so he will have patience when I don't have patience. And I know him, so I know that he's frustrated too. So we tend to take our lives a lot slower than we used to. And we're enjoying it now.
Cherise, tell us a little bit about your life with your daughter. What is that?
I have an extremely active daughter.
How old is she?
5. She's 5.
She's 5.
She's the only child, so she just wants attention all the time. It could be a little difficult. I mean, I'll have bad days, I'll have good days. The bad days would be where I have zero energy. Like 2 Sundays ago, it was hot. I put on the AC. I was like, come, let's go play Lego or something. Let's go in the AC. And she's playing Lego, and I just put my head back and I fell asleep. So, again, she's a very active child. So, me having zero energy at times, I feel so bad, right? I can have zero energy in work anytime else, but with her, I feel bad. Because
So you still work, you still go to work, you're still actively at work, and so
yes,
there's so many stresses that you have to deal with when you have an illness. I mean, there is the diet, the nutrition, the spiritual, the emotional, the financial. There's so much that you have to deal with. How do you cope?
And stress tends to bring on
Oh, yeah.
attacks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Can I ask anybody else here? Do you get overwhelming depression?
yes.
I suffer with it a lot. You get it too?
Sandra, you get it.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm
You
not
wanna-
glad that you get it, but I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Depression, not anger, but I just feel annoyed for no reason.
Is it an anger at what has happened to you, or is it a?
No, it's just I just will be very, I just annoyed and irritated for no apparent reason. I will get up one morning and just be annoyed and irritable, and the slightest thing is just irritate me.
Sandra, you feel that depression happening sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes, but just like how Cherise was saying, sometimes she'll just feel, you know, annoyed for nothing. That just happens to me sometimes too. The slightest thing will just trip me off for some strange reason. So, yeah.
And you get depressed as well?
Yeah, I do. For no reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Sometimes it
Chemical
happens.
imbalance, I guess.
We did a bit of research. I did a bit of research with a group, and I found that on the emotional aspect of things. I found that, well, I asked a number of questions like, are you embarrassed? Are you ashamed? Are you comfortable with yourself? Are you, and I got a number of responses. The majority were comfort. Okay, I'm okay. I'm like normal. Some were very comfortable. One lady even told me she is grateful. This is a lady who had MS for a long time. She's grateful that she's still alive and everything is, and she can cope. So there are a number of a few people, in fact, in my own experience, when I first had MS, I was embarrassed. Maybe because I was a public figure.
And you're a public figure, of course.
And
So
I
of course
was
you get the stares.
ashamed,
Yes.
yeah, I was so embarrassed. But now, no, I'm okay. I've accepted it. I'm comfortable with. So I don't. I coming in here, I can't walk over the pavement and so on, and so on. But I'm okay. So over time, perhaps, and but eventually, people I find get over the embarrassment, get over the depression. So
So depression is a part of the journey.
it
Yes.
seems so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes I would just feel to be quiet. So some may think that I either vexed or just,
Yeah.
it might be a letter of towards them, but it's just me that I just want to be quiet right now.
Mhm.
Or quiet for a while, or quiet for weeks. I just don't want to say anything. I just, that is one of the many changes that I have gone through. And I would not fight it if others don't seem
And
to
how is the
understand.
public, how does the public respond to someone with
Oh, they
MS?
have no clue what MS. What?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's a right true.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember someone asking him for help, and he said, "I can't do it right now. It's midday." I said, "Why?" Because they're looking at this man, and he's saying, "Boy, I wish I was like you. I could have, just not do anything at midday." And that usually gets me upset. And while I have a lot of patience for my husband, I don't have patience for the public. I'm trying to work on that because I often feel the need that I have to
You're
stand
very
between
protective.
him. I'm very protective of him, and I feel the need that I have to stand between him and people who don't
Yes.
understand when really I should be educating them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that.
Yes, so that is why we have this month, May, is Public Awareness Month.
Yeah.
In fact, international. Because so many people don't know about it.
People
And
don't
as
know,
you see,
yes.
there are so many different ways in which MS presents itself in different
And
people.
it's often mistaken for scoliosis as well. When you say MS, it says, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that back,
scol-
you know,
no,
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
scoliosis.
yeah,
That's a
lot.
Scoliosis
Yeah,
is
you
a
get that,
physical deformity.
yeah, yeah.
And I've actually met people who said outright, no, it's not MS, it's a stroke.
Yeah.
It is not MS,
They
it's
told me
a
that many
stroke.
times.
Yeah, you get
Tell me to
it.
put stuff in my mouth.
Yeah.
This.
And what about
Yes.
what about diet and nutrition? In
Oh
this,
my gosh.
how do you manage this? How do you manage your eating and so? Is there a special diet you have to follow, and how expensive is the diet? In
Well,
this.
I talked about this doctor in the US who healed herself
Well, through
diet.
vitamins and
Yes, and through natural foods, not processed foods and prepared foods, and not dairy products, milk and cheese and stuff, and not mostly vegetables, all the different colors of vegetables and fruits, and not too much rice and carbohydrate. Some, but not too much. Some meat, but some people don't have meat. So we haven't done it yet in the group. Have an exercise on nutrition We have a nutritionist on board. We have a support group of professionals, and we have a nutritionist, but she has not yet done a session with us. So there is definitely, and your vitamins, that's so important,
And water.
and the water.
Lots of water.
Refresh, what you call that? Hydrate yourself.
Yeah,
Rehydration.
Yeah,
rehydrating.
hydration.
Uh-huh.
I've had that experience with him. I pay close attention to what he eats,
Yes.
and so I make sure he have vegetables every single day in
Right.
whatever form that we have it. One of the things that I notice is that if he's not drinking water, he gets the vertigo
Vertigo.
and the
Quickly sets
headache.
on quickly.
So ever so often I have to buy electrolytes, the G-Sol
G-Sol
or
or the Gatorade.
Gatorade
Oh,
and stuff like that to make sure he gets that electrolytes or just
Yeah.
simple lemon water
Yeah.
helps.
Mhm.
But if he's not drinking water and he's not
He gets
hydrated,
sick.
it affects him a lot.
Yeah.
It affects him a lot.
Yeah. So we have to build public awareness about the disease. And we have even to try, because if nutrition and those things are factors in the disease, perhaps we can try to stop it and people not get it.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And we're looking at that and the research that is being done all over the world on this. Yes.
And you know what is frightening as well? It's that the illness, it affects, I mean, I'm hearing Sandra said the
13.
disease attacked her at 13
But
years
somebody
old.
in our group got it at 7,
7.
although that is rare.
Yes.
Even 13 is rare. But even children get it.
What a percentage would you say in Trinidad? Are there a lot of people in Trinidad who have the disease?
Well, according to a neurologist who works with MS, he said there are 200 or so people in Trinidad and Tobago. But Tobago had only one.
Okay.
And I understand that one has passed away.
Okay.
But there's another one. Because
Okay.
somebody told me her mother in Tobago has it. And I tried to get her on the phone and so on.
Okay.
So most of them are in Trinidad.
When Kern was just diagnosed, we knew no one
Was
with
that?
MS. We knew of nobody
Yeah.
with MS.
Before
And
he had it.
it
Before
was a
this was-
year, probably 2 years after when somebody from our church told us that he knows somebody else who is a part of the MS Society.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I went searching online for it because we went through this in a dark time and,
Yeah.
we had nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
And that's when I found the society and asked where can I sign up and what can I be.
I still remember, sometimes I get nightmares about it. The first night that I got paralyzed, it is so scary. It started off in the morning, my face started to get numb, my eyes drooped, my lips couldn't move, foot,
That's on both sides of it.
On the right
One
side.
On the right side.
and slowly, and as the day goes by, it got worse and worse. Or the evening, I couldn't move my foot. My wife had to drag me to put me on the bed. So we said we were going to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to go and sleep because I felt as though it felt like it was creeping up that I may not wake up, or I may wake up and I will not be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Only just open my eyes. So it was really scary, and nobody knew what it was back
He
then.
was actually in hospital for 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it started on one side and then...
On one side.
And then...
It's still on one side. I get cramps on the left side. I don't know why. But it's still on the side. Right now, this
The
foot,
right
it always
side.
feels as though I'm carrying like a 10-pound weight. So I'm walking and this 10 foot, and you would know it will turn 20 or 15 pounds depending on the heat. So I often bite my tongue and the inside of my lip on the right side here, which takes sometimes a whole week to heal. And it's messed up.
Glenn, what
sometimes.
are your greatest fears with this illness? What are your...
Well, my greatest fears used to be, because it was really dark in the earlys, I thought that I wouldn't have been able to be walking around this time. And I really thought that my kids, okay, I'll be honest, I still think I can end up in a bedridden, and my wife have to hire someone to take care of me. I still see that, and I'm scared of it. When I have bad days, it becomes a reality. When I can't leave the house, or I can't play with my kids, and when depression sets in, when I line up a lot of work to do, a lot of stuff to do, and I can't do it, and that's when it's really hard. And the ages of my kids is 16, 15,
16, 12.
12, yeah, 12. What's your next? 7?
6
6
and 5.
and 5.
Yeah, that's a father. Yeah.
Right? And I sometimes worry about the 2 last ones. If when they reach teenage, if I'll be around, if I'll be able to talk to them and play with them, or I'll be just somebody in a bed that they come and say good morning to.
You see, what I want for our MS Foundation is that those fears of our members will go away
Yeah.
because they have enough knowledge, they have enough experience with the research and with people who have done, so that they know that they don't have to be that depressed. And of course, we have also to deal with our emotional and spiritual and so on support. Depend on God.
Yep.
Depend on God. The other night, I was in my bed, and my story is on my right side as well. My right foot was so bad, and getting, I don't know, like burning and hurting and heavy and everything. And I remember the Bible says, be careful for nothing. Don't bother, in other words. Don't worry. But in everything, let your requests be made known unto God. So I said, God, this is my request. I don't want to be worried. I don't want to be fearful. But I told him what I wanted. And a kind of cooling came over me on my leg. And some was in my left leg too, which doesn't usually have too much problem. But faith in God
That's so important.
is so important to
That
get
is
over.
so important.
And don't worry, don't bother.
And just thank
Come.
God for every single
Oh,
day.
and you learn to thank God for all the little things you can
Yeah.
do. And you get up one day and it's good, thank God. Faith in God keeps me, gets me through.
Sandra, what gets you through the day? And then before you answer, we're expecting a call from someone, Sharon McNeil, and we haven't heard from hers yet. So Sharon, if you're listening to the program, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, let her call.
Yes. What gets you through the day? What's your strength? Where do you get your strength?
Well, actually, I have 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. So they are mostly my motivation. I remember when I had the first relapse was actually when I became blind, but the second one was in 2015.
So you had your children while you had MS
Yeah.
because you were 13,
Mhm,
yes.
Yeah. And my daughter was only 2 years, and I couldn't walk for almost an entire year. And she was like, Mommy, you know, if you believe you could walk, you'll start back to walk. And she was only 2. Only 2.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, they are my inspiration. I guess they are my only reason for actually doing things that I like.
So you had a
Yeah.
normal pregnancy during your
Yes.
MS,
Yeah.
during your
Mhm.
with the illness.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I think that's really life-giving for our public to hear that it was.
Everything
What
to be
about you? What keeps you going?
What keeps me going? Not letting MS keep me in my bed. And when I have to get up at a certain time to start getting ready and start organizing my daughter for school, just say, just get up. And I will just go through the day. Right. I have supporting co-workers, supporting supervisor, manager. I'll even joke about it. So if I'm going through the day with pain with my back or my legs, I'll say, give me a legs for the rest of the day until 4 o'clock now. So I will just my motivation is just not letting it get me down where I just want to stay in bed, which is I just feel like Snoopy, Snoopy wants to just lie down on his
Yes,
house.
on his house, yes.
Yes, whole day.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I guess a sense of humor helps you as well.
Oh,
yes,
Oh,
it
definitely.
does.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and working with people who understand, because having someone who supports you, you're an amazing woman.
Yeah.
You seem to really take control and manage.
I try, and you know, as Ms. Dr. Phillips was saying, I rely on Heavenly Father a lot. As I said earlier, we're a praying family. I don't think our family would have lasted or been this strong if it wasn't for our faith in Heavenly Father
Faith in God.
and in the atonement and what Jesus Christ actually did for us.
Yes.
And so, I often tell people, I know my husband disagrees with me, but I am grateful for MS.
She says
I
it all the
am.
time.
Because it's a disease where we suffer, yeah, but it teaches us a lot. Teaches us to be tolerant when other people wouldn't be. It teaches us to manage our expectations and our disappointments and stay strong and work through our issues. It teaches us to be strong for others even when we are not for ourselves, and that gives us a more caring. And I'm grateful for my children. My two eldest children helps a lot with when things are bad with him, and they take the autistic ones, and we're able to work. We have a really good dynamic at home, and I'm so grateful for that.
So it's the younger ones who are autistic?
It's the younger ones.
The
that are
younger ones, so
autistic.
the older ones help.
They're saviors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's tremendous. I
Indeed.
think what
Yes.
you're talking about is
And
tremendous.
What helps is that we've taught them from young to pray, so they know together as a family we have a responsibility with each other. So they grow up with that. So can't wait to see what
Very
husbands and wives there becomes.
There is something that I do almost every day that helps me a lot, and I don't know if I'll mention it. I wake up at 5:30 every morning, and I work out.
Uh-huh.
I remembered from when I was totally paralyzed, I had a lot of exercises I had to go to. I started off in a pool to take up my own weight so I can walk again, and the exercises grew from then. And I still do stretches every morning. I do aerobics and weights, but not weights to get strong really. It's weights
To maintain.
to be functional, so I can be able to keep some muscle mass and move around. Yeah,
Yeah.
helps me a lot.
So it's exercise,
Exercise.
mind, body, spirit.
Yes,
Yes.
and mind you, the endorphins. The days I don't exercise, feel down. The endorphins helps a lot.
Yeah.
For me right now, I am going through a lot of stiffness and pain for the past 2 weeks. It has now subsided. So for me, I have to get to his routine, the stretching and the exercising, because yes, I have a lot of stiffness. So I have tried coming on to late last week. After I put my daughter to sleep, I would try to do some stretches with my legs, with my hips, twists and everything, and it really does help.
Okay. I went online and take up some yoga styles.
Yeah, yoga is
I did
good.
that.
Yeah, I did that just
You did
today in
that too?
Mountube. I was like going through YouTube, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, YouTube saved me, man. So,
And you see, what about you, Sonia? Do you do exercises as well?
Actually, my brother is a fitness fanatic, so yes, he'd be like, so you wake up and exercise. So yeah, he showed me a few stretches to do, and yeah, it helps a lot because I used to get a lot of pain in my ankles, and I realized the pain not there
Yeah.
as
And
much as before.
And Dr. Phillips, what I'm enjoying on this program, the dynamic that's happening among them, and you can see how the support group is really helpful.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have Sharon on the line now. And Sharon, welcome to the program.
Good night. Thanks. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I've been listening to the conversation so far. I'll share a little bit about myself. I was diagnosed in 2008. So this is my 10th year. and currently I'm having a relapse,
Okay, we've lost
and
it.
I am more or less bedridden. Um,
Oh, you're bedridden now?
yes,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yes, I am.
Uh-huh. And what has your
Yes.
journey been like?
Sorry.
What has your journey been like? What has it been like for you for the 10
Uh,
years?
it has been challenging, but I could also say that I'm grateful for MS because I've seen myself grown so much because of MS. I don't think I would have grown if it were not for MS. So I'm grateful for it. When I got sick in 2008, I was home for like about a year, and then I went back out to work. And then in 2014, I started having a relapse, and I'm having issues with my legs, having spasms, and that has caused me to be in bed all this time. But I am hopeful. I keep telling people that this year is my year for walking, so I'm still hopeful and praying that I will be able to stand up and walk this year.
Well, on the set here, we've had stories of persons who were bedridden and who are now walking again, you know. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
What keeps you going? You know, you said you're grateful for
Hmm.
MS. I think it's a concept that many of us would find so difficult to really understand. How could you?
Um,
Yeah. What is it?
Seeing God in my life and seeing how He's taking care of me, I am so grateful for the support that I've had. My physical family, my spiritual family at church, my MS family, and my friends, and they've all been so supportive. And I don't think if we're not for that support, it would have been really discouraging and depressing and difficult, real challenging. If I didn't have that kind of support that I have.
And what about things like your diet? And so, have you been doing the vegetables like Dr. Phillips was chatting about a while ago? You know, have you been managing that? Your
I can't say that I focus a lot on eating a lot of vegetables, but I try my best to eat um, healthy food. Uh, I cannot prepare my meals, and since I got sick, I've been living with my mother, who is 86 years old. So she's the one who prepares the meals for
so
me.
so you're thankful for a meal, yeah, yeah. You're thankful for a meal,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Sharon,
very grateful.
thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much for calling
Thanks.
in, and I hope one day you can walk into the studio and guest
I
with
hope
us.
so too. I hope
And
so too.
yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
You know, it's interesting because we talk about nutrition, and I always worry about that because we've had a total flip around now, and we call it farm to table,
Yeah.
fresh, and so, and the prices just go straight
Yeah.
up because
You
now,
can't afford it.
yeah, you
And
can't
then
afford
you
to
can't
eat
afford
healthy,
it.
and it's
And you can't even get the
simple, healthy.
exactly the genuine
Yes.
foods
right.
that are not
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes, because a lot of
contaminated by
That's
right,
right.
all these
stuff.
stuff that they put
Yes,
on
the
them, you
enzymes
know,
and the
and so as well.
chemicals.
So to get like, and then when you do get natural, normal farmers' food,
expensive.
they put them with new titles now and new
Yeah,
names,
yes.
and they jack up the price.
Jack
up
Yes,
right.
right.
You know,
Yes.
and you know, I just felt like I had to mention this because it's so unfair to people who really do. You're not doing it as a fad. You're not doing it because
Yeah.
you're doing it because you
need that.
really do need
Yeah.
the nutrition. You really do
That
need to have it for your body.
Definitely, yes.
And you know, and calling them and putting all these labels now on them, and jacking up the prices
Yes,
of
yes.
natural, normal food from the garden that we eat.
Yes.
Yes.
That we can eat now.
That's
It's
one of
it's
the-
so you know, I'm sure there are people out there, and I'm looking at the clock. There are people out there who would really want to get in touch with you. What is it that you have
Okay.
meetings? Is it that
Yeah,
you have?
But we
how-
have a website now.
Okay,
We
great.
just developed a website, and we're going to we're going to expose it and promote it on World MS Day,
Okay.
which we are having a function at Marriott Hotel.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And so we have it's
excited
very
about that.
attractive.
Very
It's very
So there's a
interactive.
website
It is a
now,
website.
so you just type in support.
MSFTT.
MSF.
MSF Multiple Sclerosis Support Foundation of Trinidad and Tobago. MSSFTT.org. That's all. And you type it in. You get all the information there. You get forms where you can join the organization. You get information. You get on what we are doing. We also have a platform where we, on that website, where we inviting people to support businessmen and so on and so on. And we're going to have on June 2nd a World MS Day function at Marriott Hotel from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And we're going to have that website exposed. I'm also going to do my research, the research I have been doing, as well as we having.
So you're going to be presenting your research
yes,
as well?
I'm going to be doing that. And we have a neurologist who works with our patients, and he's going to talk about MS in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, we have somebody from the Ministry of Health. We asked the minister, but we don't know if he will be available. Or, but we're going to have somebody. And we're going to have a good time. It's going to be, we're going to promote it.
That is fantastic. That is, and so you can get on the website and
Definitely.
connect with you, connect with, and you know, I really enjoyed the energy of hearing you share experiences of finding out, and I think that's so much about what it's about, you know.
Definitely.
Can I share one more thing?
Sure.
The right idea, that is the right idea. Because we go to a church, and what we did immediately when we started to educate everybody on it, what is going on, and everybody was on board.
Everybody is.
So
With MS?
with MS, they know of the disease, and they say, okay, here is too warm for Brother Barrios.
Yes.
And they will take me to an AC room. And a couple brethren have to pick me off the floor a couple times already. And where I sit, they will bring a fan immediately. It's the support as sister.
And I think it's because you shared.
That's right.
Yes.
So
and
what,
so people understood.
what you're saying,
yeah.
when more people know,
Yes.
the support will come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the understanding.
Relatives, they play a big part.
Yes.
Relatives
As
play a
well.
big part in the support.
So I guess
Yeah.
it's making, and as you were saying, get on the website, learn about it, and to all of you in public out there, you know, get on the website, whether you have someone with the disease or not, and learn about it so that when you do encounter someone, you know, yet you know how to manage it. And you also shared in your office, so you talk about it,
just open
you know,
about.
and so, well, you know, we've come to the end of the program. So Dr. Phillips, Sonja, Sharice, Devrani, Kern, thank you so very much for being with us on the program today. And I know I'm going to be hearing a lot from that seminar that's coming up. And to all our viewers, I know I must remember Sharon. Sharon, thank you so much for calling in and sharing with us. And to all our viewers out there, God bless.
We want to give you thanks for